Hi everybody. Sorry for the first thing you hear, if the first thing that you hear is the sound of my swallowing that water. That might have been intense. I'll wait like, I don't know, a couple more minutes here, in case anybody else is going to show up. All the cops here in San Francisco have heard that I'm doing a Twitch stream, so they're making sure to step it up. There were sirens outside, if you didn't hear that. Hi. Cool. Well, I don't want to keep people waiting here, drumming their fingers. Cool. Okay, hi everybody. It's December 13th. Captain's log. I don't know why I'm saying that for the record. Yeah, so it's been about a week, maybe a week and a day, since I did my last stream. And I haven't made a ton of progress on the Ultima 4 map viewer thing, but I think I'm about ready. I think I'm almost done with it. I think I'm, like, yeah, I think I'm nearing, it's nearing the end of its usefulness as an exercise for getting Playscii up and going. So yeah, so I'll just start with a quick tour of where I'm at with that. The application, yeah, it kind of behaves as it has, but I think last time I only had like some test text drawing in the UI here, whereas now we have a functioning GUI with some buttons that I can hover over here. See, I can hover over these buttons and they light up, and that's pretty cool. And the buttons zoom in and zoom out and all that kind of stuff. And I can toggle the CRT shader off and on, which is cool. And this changes out the palette, which doesn't do anything at the moment, because one of the few things that I still have yet to do is figure out what a good solution for palette swapping is. Now, I want you to be able to, my thought for the U4 map view here is to be able to toggle between the DOS, Commodore 64, and if it's possible to recreate the look in a shader, also the Apple II, because those were all platforms that ran Ultima 4, and those color palettes each give the platform a pretty distinctive look. And I was actually just checking to see if I had to make sure I didn't have the mic muted, but also people in the text chat replied to something I said. So, but maybe they're a lip reader. So yeah, I want to figure out palette swapping because I'm pretty sure that can be done in the shader. And also, it's a pretty critical component of Playscii. I want you to be able to give Playscii an arbitrary color palette. So if you want to make something that has like the Atari 2600 color palette or something, I want you to be able to, I want you to be able to throw that at it. And it needs to. So I need to talk with some folks who understand GLSL better than I do, and understand how you would do something like a palette swap. I went looking for some tutorials and stuff online, and some people were saying like, oh, a palette swap, that's when you author something as grayscale and then you just use a shader to shift the color. And that's cool, you could do like Mortal Kombat fruit-flavored ninjas that way, but I'm talking about something that's a little weirder, where you just translate color values. So I'm not sure how that works or if it's doable or something, but I'll figure out some way. So the UI is resolution independent. I mean, it's easy for a UI this simple to be resolution independent, but I also, this is an application, and just as if I had written this with Qt or Qt or however you pronounce it, I want you to be able to scale the application window here and have the UI still function properly and all that kind of stuff. And that was a bit of work. I ended up writing some. I have a UI class, which is really kind of like the. This is just the thing that spawns all of the UI elements. I have a list up top here that is just a list in draw order of all of the elements, all of the UI element subclasses to spawn, and then it creates all of those. It does a little bit of weird, like, hey, what's your base class here to figure out what to pass into the constructor. I don't know how commonly accepted practice this is in Python programming. It might be kind of weird, and maybe I'll look back on it in a few weeks and think it's really ugly, but it got the job done and it wasn't difficult. And then the actual UI classes here there's one major UI element class here that kind of handles a lot of this stuff. Like here, this creates all of the GL object stuff, like, hey, UI elements are quads basically, and they've got, a texture often, but not always, and a shader and all that kind of stuff, and then it generates some geo for them, and then it has functions that the UI talks to for hovered. Over in UI here, in UI update, it goes through all of its elements and said, hey, where's the mouse? It translates the mouse's it translates from mouse screen coordinates, which are going to be something like 1024 by 768, or whatever the window sized, and then translates it into I forget what the jargony term is, localized device coordinates, and then multiplies that by the UI's aspect ratio, or does it? Yeah, I think it does. Like I went through a whole bunch of weird stuff trying to get this working correctly. Oh yeah, that's right. I multiply the x by the inverse of the aspect ratio, and that magically worked. And yeah, it was a little confusing for a bit, but it's doing a similar kind of math that the projection matrix for deprojecting this thing so I can get the cursor working, but much simpler. You can see all of the arithmetic for that really fits here, and it's super simple. So yeah, once it that's right. I get all of the every UI element here has a width and a height. And you can see here some of the subclasses for UI thing. Here's the panel itself. And here's the width and height. The width and height is like in the weird normalized GL space, So I'm not sure if this approach is really sound for doing something on the order of Playscii's UI. So we'll just have to see. I think I'm generally interested in like a generic UI specification format that like manages resolution independence, but maybe has something a little less confusing than just these floats here. Like here I'm saying that this icon button here is 0.1 by 0.1 of the GL view, normalized to the the view aspect and all that kind of stuff. And I got my head around those numbers, so that I was able to do like very specific tuning here. It was definitely kind of a pain to like place these really precisely. I ended up doing some math based on, well, these things are grouped together. I've got a button caption here and the button icon itself, and then the button that actually lights up when you do it. Those are all separate elements because they kind of needed to be separate drawable UI things. And I'm not sure if, it was some work to get going. But it worked, and it's just that Playscii is going to have a UI. Oh yeah, I did. I'm switching over to another desktop here. Yeah, this is the Playscii UI logo rather that I came up with. I came up with it over at my parents' place in Texas, and then touched it up a little bit. It's a rainbow heart with a CRT shader, and it's playful and lo-fi and cute looking, and yeah, it's good for the time being. But yeah, what did I do? Oh yeah, that's right. This is another thing that I did recently, and y'all might have seen me posted on Twitter. This is the first mock-up that I have of the Playscii UI. This is just a mock-up. None of this is actually working yet or anything like that, but. And I'm not even really sure whether I'm going to go with a top menu bar. I kind of did all of this because this is sort of the most complex singing, dancing version of Playscii's UI that I could imagine, with an icon-based toolbar that, for the purposes of this mock-up, I stole from DPaint. Sorry, Deluxe Paint. But then I kind of like stepped back from that, and I was like, yeah, well, what are each of these things getting me? It is definitely getting me having a top menu bar. I think the classic argument, going back to the original Macintosh, having this pull-down menu here is that all the commands become discoverable all of a sudden, where it's like before in Edscii here, and let me open up Edscii just for laughs here. I think we've kind of looked at everything in the U4 map view that we need to look at here, really. Let me just open up ye olde Edscii here, and let me open up something else that I was doing. Yeah, should I open up the let me open up the character set here. I'm actually changing the character set to the character set that I used. It's a character set from another project. And yeah, it's kind of like a 1x2 aspect, old-looking computer font thing, and it's got some weird quirks here, like the A is kind of taller, so that I could have that style of A. Anyway, let me open up. What did I call it again? PS Mock 2. So yeah, this is I actually did this mock-up in Edscii, yeah, because this might be a little confusing to follow along with if you're not familiar with Edscii, but and let me go to the yeah. So this is the Edscii UI down at the bottom here, and then this is this thing inside the frame here is the mock-up, i.e. the piece of art that I was doing, and I could like blah 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 blah. I could make a smiley face or whatever I wanted here, etc. This is just ASCII art, and I could scribble over it if I wanted to. Yeah. But yeah, Edscii you'll notice just has its UI is very simple. It just has this bar at the bottom that has the currently selected tool, the selected character foreground and background color, and then like your coordinates, and then you can click on this help to see a list of commands and yada yada. So that's Oh, interesting. Parentheses got messed up. Yeah, so, and this works for Edscii because a lot of the flow, I was thinking about doing a piece of Edscii art here, after we're done talking, because I realized that I hadn't actually streamed doing artwork in Edscii on this stream before, and I kind of wanted to because it's fun, and you'll get to see me try to make something real with it. Anyway, a lot of the, I'm hitting spacebar to bring up this little palette here, and this thing is really kind of the core of Edscii's workflow. I'm picking some loud, weird colors here, yeah, because you can kind of do everything that you want to in this. If I'm going to, between this and keyboard shortcuts, I should say, I've got the paint tool, and that's A, the capital A in the paint. And then I hit E for erase, and then if I want to draw a line, I guess I can do that, and Z for undo. So this kind of bears the marks of a tool that I made for myself to use primarily, which is fine. So I think when I'm implementing Playscii to start with, I'm just going to implement this bottom bar here that displays the current thing, because it'll get a UI concept in there, but I'm going to hold off on the pull-down menu stuff until I'm sure that I need it, because also, it's the kind of thing that's more for people who are new to the program, and for the time being at least, because I am, not making much income right now other than unemployment, and, I'm trying to make a game. And so I think I'm going to hold off on making as fancy a UI as I've mocked up here until I know that I need it. I still think that this was a very useful exercise because it made me realize several things about what I was doing here. So yeah, what else? Yeah, I created the Playscii source depot. It has very little aside from a README and a license. I chose the MIT license just because it seemed like the most restriction-free and all that. I didn't want to do GPL just in case that, made it difficult for some people to use or something. I think MIT is going to be a good choice for this. So I don't know. If it ever becomes a problem, it'll be because it's so darn successful. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to nerd out or think about licenses right now. So yeah, at this point, I've got some other things that aren't related to Playscii and game development and my game that I'm making that have kept me from doing any more work on the Ultima 4 thing or on Playscii for the past few days. One of them is I'm writing something that might appear in a book at some point, and I'll talk about, maybe I'll be able to talk about that eventually. And the other thing I've been doing is I've been gearing up to, I've been thinking about okay, well, what if I'm doing a Patreon, to let people support me in this thing that I'm doing? How do I, what's my pitch? When people are supporting me so kindly with money, assuming that anybody does, what are they gonna, what's going to make it sorry, here, I'm checking the text chat here. Anyway, yeah, I was just thinking about what's my pitch? What am I doing as an independent creative person who's asking for support on Patreon? And I have a pretty clear idea, obviously, in the form of Playscii and the game that I'm developing. And I have a whole plan there that will be, and talking about that plan will be part of the Patreon. But I was also thinking about context, this is the sort of thing where I don't know if anybody who, I don't know if this has been done before. I don't know if somebody in AAA or professional game development has done a Patreon that's hey, I want to quit my job. If I get enough money to cover my living expenses, then I will quit and, work independently on the basis of that. That's obviously not what I'm doing here. I was laid off, so there's a bit more urgency. But I kind of wanted to set some context because, and so this thing that I put together, it's probably going to be on my webpage. and I don't want to like dwell too much on this, but I put together a timeline of my entire career. And this was, starting all the way back before my professional career began, when I was just like a kid in high school making like Doom levels in 3D renderings. And then it goes all the way up through the years, through the 90s, the 2000s, professional work on BioShock and so forth, and The Cave, and then up to the present day. So yeah, that was kind of terrifying to put together. And it was kind of emotionally draining because I was thinking back over my entire career, while I was thinking like, this kind of like, all right, I want to make games myself now. I want to make games outside the context of a studio. And that's really terrifying. And it was like alternately sort of, sad because I was thinking back on my career and all these things that I've made, and things that I've done professionally and in my spare time. I was kind of like disappointed with, my output as an independent creator. Like I worked really hard on a lot of these things, and some of them never saw the light of day. A lot of them, most of it really, never saw the light of day. Just weird little prototypes I've made over the years. The code for them is up for a lot of things. But I think I've gotten better and better about releasing things, putting things that I'm making in people's hands. And yeah, like I don't hesitate to talk about, I talk about working on XCOM at 2K Marin, this is like a overhead map shot from that. There's definitely some from the vault, behind the scenes kind of stuff. This was the design test that I did for that game company. And there's some real ups and downs there. So I hope it doesn't just read like a total sob story. But it was a weird mix of, being really hungry and wishing that I could have done more, but also being pretty proud of the work that I've done. Because I have been doing this for a really long time. And I think I can make a go of it myself, and I think I can make something good. And I like that this timeline begins and nearly ends with Doom stuff, because it's the constant through my career, I suppose. So yeah, I don't know if I have a pretty screenshot here to conclude with. I was going to do some Edscii doodling here. That timeline, along with a version, a write-up of what my current plan is and kind of what my roadmap is. I want to put other things like the Doom Engine Creators Kit, which I kind of set aside after it became clear that project was going a certain way. I kind of want to put other things on my roadmap, not to make any promises or anything, but just to kind of show people that if I was able to support myself independently, there's like 3 different really interesting, promising tools for making games that I want to make. I want to be able to make those, and also talk about like, this is I'm going to be making a game that I can sell and hopefully make some money off of that, so that I can be self-sufficient and not just having to live on the grace of Patreon. That's kind of where I'm at with that. A lot of exciting stuff there. This last thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to take a request. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter. I've been doing I do artwork in Edscii. Edscii being the old version of this program, I've been doing artwork in Edscii for a while, and I posted on Twitter with the hashtag Edscii. So if you want to look at that, you could search for that hashtag on Twitter, because I don't think anybody else is using it. These are just pieces of artwork that I've done. I think I might have shown this off on a previous stream or something, but I just wanted to take a request or something. Is there anything that anybody wants me to draw that would not be super ambitious or completely beyond my modest abilities as a creative, as an artist? that I could doodle in Edscii right now. Because I would like to doodle something, because the process for doing it is pretty fun. Yeah. I don't know if people have any suggestions. I'll watch the text chat here. If not, I will totally just pick something for myself. And I'm watching the stream lag here, so I can tell that the call for requests has to be out for a bit. Also, if nobody responds and it's just super awkward, then that's fine too. All right. Mr. Pittman says a Fender Stratocaster. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I could try that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic thing. So yeah, maybe I'll draw a Fender Stratocaster. Yeah, this is... See, I'm also... The other reason that I'm doing this is because I want to kind of push through some self-consciousness I have about live coding, because that's intimidating, you know, like Casey Muratori and John Blow and Notch and all those heavy hitters do live coding, but they're badasses who have been doing this for a long time, and also doing art, because my art chops were never really that good and they've long since faded, and I just want to do something here and get out of my system and make it so that I can feel comfortable doing this thing all the time. Okay, Fender Stratocaster, self-portrait, a spin fuser. I know exactly what a spin fuser is. A spin fuser is the signature weapon from Tribes. That might be kind of hard to draw. Like, you only ever see those from a first-person point of view. Then Spin Fuser's good. Spin Fuser is great because, like, it takes real skill to use. Man, I miss Tribes so much. I don't know. Yeah, and then Prince of Persia, Doom Guy. Okay, what's realistic here? A Fender Stratocaster, like, that was the first suggestion. It's kind of, yeah, I kind of want to see, like... See, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to show you what a hack artist I am right off the bat. I want to just, like, look up an image reference here. Because I usually put some dopey twist on something, you know? Like, if I'm going to draw, like, a seagull or something, you know, it's got to, I don't know, like, and I don't know how I would make a Stratocaster weird. I could draw like a sweet dude jamming on it, but that seems complicated, and I don't want to like take an hour here. I'm just full of excuses tonight. Yeah, maybe I'll do Doom Guy. Maybe I'll do Doom Guy, because, like, yeah, Doom Guy, Doom, as you might call him. What am I doing here? Let me just see what Doom Guy results in. Okay, yeah, this is all right. This is a reasonably, because, like, I hate looking like bound to reference. This is like, there are artists that I trust a lot who will tell you, like, don't go to reference because that's going to fill your head with ideas about what something looks like, and then you're just going to copy that, and that's BS. So, okay, yeah, I just want to like kind of glean the. Big question is, should I do Doom Guy with his helmet off or on? I kind of want to do a big head Doom Guy, like, you know, big head, tiny body, and then do it with his helmet on. Well, I just realized how weird that sounded. Okay, so yeah, like, yeah, it's got that little dealie on top. It's got the dealie on top. It kind of goes out to the side, and then it's got the thingy. All right, I'm just going to try to draw the helmet here. So with Playscii, Edscii, and soon Playscii, I usually start by like roughing out a basic shape. You know, I use the solid color thing. What's a little weird about this is that I could make it the blank character and just do it with background color, and that looks the same. This is something that I want to address with transparent colors with transparency in Playscii, because it does kind of get confusing, being like, oh, is this opaque or solid or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna like get the basic shape roughed out here. And yeah, that's always another question here, is like, how big should I go and how many colors should I use here? I'm sorry, how many pixels or characters rather should I use here? So yeah, this is sort of a reasonable shape, and I could like color it in. I could color the view part in dark here. And at this point, we're just kind of doing like pixel art. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna peek at the reference like just a few more times here. Oh yeah, that's right. He's got kind of a Bane mouth cover thing. Okay. Because see, this is also kind of a weird way to do. ASCII art, you know, because usually, you've got, you know, you're starting with characters, and when you're starting with pixels or big chunky things, at least, you know, you're kind of not doing that. So one thing, there's a lot of different, you know, this is the Commodore Edscii set, kind of organized into a shape that makes it easier for me to do art with it. One of the weird things about it is that it has these characters that are really good actually for drawing. You know, it's got like just a perfect triangle-y type thing here. And this is cool. You can kind of do a lot with these. Now, sorry, it's hard to talk cohesively while I'm. So yeah, this is an example of. I guess this is. Yeah, like having to explain how I'm working. It's really useful actually, because you know. It's explaining how the program works and stuff. So two big things that are probably not obvious just from my manipulating the UI with the keyboard, is that you can right-click at any point with Edscii and do kind of like the eyedropper paint color sample thing. But in Edscii, it samples not only the current color, but the current foreground, background color, and character. And you can restrict that and only, you know, filter it by foreground, background color. That's what these X's down in the UI here are doing. But by default, it works on all three of these things. So you can very easily like just pick and sample, you know, like right-click, boom, boom, boom. Oh, let me get one of these, put some of these down, etc. So yeah, that's cool, and I added that pretty early on because I realized that it was important for fluency. The other thing is I'm using Q and E to cycle forward through the character gradient here, you know, and then I'm also hitting S to swap the foreground and background color, which you'll notice, like, to be able to do certain kinds of shapes, you gotta do that. You know, you've got to, like, that's another shortcut. So yeah, let me also. Yeah, let me just save this out here. I always misspell the names of the arts that I make with Edscii because I guess I just do. So yeah, this is kind of a Doom guy. You know, this is and then a lot of times you can go in and add details. You know, you can go in and be like, oh well, he's got this kind of thing here. You know, or it's like a face masky type thing. I'm going to peek again at the reference here. Yeah, okay, so. I mean, it's something that's already been drawn, so I feel like less of a jerk. Here's a question, like, should I put his eyeballs in there, you know? Should I have, like, just little eyeballs in there? Is he all, like, terrified? That's kind of adorable and hilarious. I could do, like, big eyes, probably. This is another cool thing that the Edscii set has, is it gives you, like, sort of, like, circle drawing tools here. Oh, that's not going to work. Yeah, I don't have the. Well, actually, yeah, I do kind of have. There's all these weird characters. I love them so much in the Edscii set. Doot, and I could do doot, And then do another one of these. Yeah, that doesn't look like eyeballs at all. Yep, erase it. I think the, okay, so I like the idea of putting eyeballs in here. So I'm actually going to use the cut and paste tool here and make this helmet a little bit taller. Whoops. Man, you know, like, I really messed up the... okay, cool. I really messed up the keybinds and logic for selection here. Because, like, I always get it wrong. I always end up, like... Anyway, I cut and pasted this so that I could move it down a layer. Oh, God. Yeah, like, you can drag out this selection here, and that's cool, and then you can, like, copy-paste that selection. But then certain stuff, like, yeah, see, I'm trying to paint, but it's only working within the tiny bit I've selected. I am such a jerk for that. Anyway. Anyway. So the whole reason I did this was so that I could do eyeballs in the... I'm not sure how much I like that, actually. I moved it down so that I could have, like, an even space to... I mean, it looks... I like that Doom looks scared. Is he like... Rawr. He's got angry eyes. But maybe it's better if Doom is just a featureless... Yeah, and it gives it, like, a completely different feel if, you know... If it's like that. Those are just kind of like featureless person eyes. Kind of like that look. Yeah, so I don't know, like, kind of want to just move on from this and just start making, let's see, just making a body. Like I said, I wanted to do like just a goofy little tiny body. That's really goofy and really tiny. And then yeah, see, I can do the thing that I love here. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, what color are Doom's shoes? Things you don't see. Oh yeah, that's right. He's got little booties. Yeah, and I like the idea of giving him booties here. All right, so that's a reasonable Doom. Another thing I could do, you know, like, there's kind of a question of like, yeah, how do I do shading? Like, because he is kind of a darkish green, and this increases noise a lot, but it does give you kind of like a halftone of green. You know, and like, should I move these arms up? Yeah, maybe he's just got like little spindly legs. Yeah, maybe that's what that wants to be. Oh wait, I gotta go back into select. Ugh. Yeah, I swear by all that is holy that Playscii will not have obnoxious to use copy-paste support. It will have good copy-paste support because it is essential. You know, like when you're making adjustments and stuff. I mean, if there was like a smarter way to do it, then you know, that'd be cool too. All right, so yeah, like this is like pretty basic. I guess I've spent most of my time talking here. Yeah, and do I want to? Oh, come on, you're killing me here, copy paste. Yeah, this is real good here. Okay. Like just by inverting the colors of a character, you know, you can really kind of change the look. Maybe Doom is crying. That doesn't work so well. Maybe Doom is dead. Doom, you've died. Yeah, what's gonna... I don't know. Doom should probably be holding something, huh? And this is kind of a crappy pose for holding something. So maybe his arms need to be doing something a little different here so that he can be holding a thing. That's going to cross over with his body. Maybe I'll give him like two-tone arms. Yeah, I don't like that so much. It starts to... yeah, this is making art, you know, just fumbling around with different creative choices. Yeah, and his body is so wide that, like, closing his pose such that he's, like, holding a chain gun or something, not so good. Maybe I can just make him running away from something. Like a goofus. Let's maybe try that. Let's see if I could, like... You're getting the heck out of Dodge. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've given myself very little, like, room to work with here. And then his legs would need to be doing something. Yeah, this is also just really weird, like, thinking through all this stuff that I would normally not feel super rushed about on camera. Kind of making excuses there, but I guess I could just like detail his armor, kind of, you know, like, because he's got totally ripped sweet abs or pecs, you know. So there's a suggestion of a sweet pec. Perhaps. A mere suggestion of a sweet peck. And then, yeah, I could use one of these characters that I was using up top there. Yeah, okay. Geez, I guess I could just, like, give him a total six-pack. Let's see, does that work? Totally derailed working on Doom Guy's six-pack. Priorities here. And that's just a two-pack. That's oh my gosh. Yeah, and now he's just got little boots. All right. You know, it's actually, I've done such a poor job with the selection system here that it's probably just, yeah, see, it's just faster if I just do that. So yeah, I mean, that's a Doom, kind of. But, like, you know, what's he doing, you know? He's just standing there. I don't know. He's got to, I figure he's either got to be holding a shotgun, you know, looking all tough, or maybe he's about to obtain a power-up, you know? There's like a soul sphere. Maybe I could make him looking at a soul sphere. He's like, what the heck is that? One thing that I really love about ASCII art is that there's this playfulness to it that is kind of hard to get with pixel art. See, that's kind of cool. It's sort of got like goth makeup on or something. Yeah, but like just changing out the characters, like you're making... This is my GDC talk on why ASCII art earned me millions of dollars, by the way. Is like the total number of creative decisions I'm having to make here is so much fewer than if I was just doing pixel art of Doom Guy. And I am like, you know, I don't feel like I have the chops to do pixel art, you know, just freehand, you know, like I mean I would have to work at it, you know, and I do want to work at it someday and get good at it so I can make more types of games with pixel art. But you know, just like being able to that's just weird. Nah. Being able to kind of run through lots of different things, you know, like the reason that I say that a lot of the The reason that I say that the total number of creative decisions that you're making with ASCII art is much lower is because, you're making decisions on the basis of like, a few characters or something. There's a soul sphere. Maybe I don't like that. Kind of want to do like a like soul sphere is just like no. And then I could do this because I love to do this. That kind of makes it like just a weird diamond or something. I don't know. And it's easy to get all into the shading of it. Doesn't look great, but yeah, because you're just like worrying about like these creative decisions. I mean, you have 3 bits of information to decide about it, rather than just, well, depending on how you count it, just like the 1 or whatever. Yeah. So it feels like lower pressure in a way. And I like that. That's actually kind of the cutest. Just give him, just give him tiny eyes. Just give him tiny eyes. And actually, I might be able to. Is there any kind of like eyebrow kind of emoji thing that I could give him here? Like. Yeah, and then I could give Soul Sphere over here the same eyeballs. That's kind of cute. Oh, but then I would have to. Well, yeah. Let's see where this goes. You're just kind of like. You just do it to see what it looks like on screen. And then I'll copy paste this, and then I'll put them like right on the same level here. So there we go. So they're both looking at each other. Maybe I'll come up with a better way for how to do the look. And yeah, I'm gonna make this art about one of my favorite things in Doom, which is how. Interesting. Yeah. One of my favorite things in Doom, which is how there can be like a power up that's like on a ledge that's only like, that's like trivially tall. And maybe it's against a wall, or actually it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But because Doom's step height is only like 32 units, or it's pretty low, and so yeah, Doom is like looking at that soul sphere, and the soul sphere is like looking at him, and it's all awkward, and you're like. Because you can't walk up on it, Like Doom guy is sitting right here, and you're just looking at that soul sphere. Oh, here we go. I'll be completely awesome and use a check mark for the thing. This is a word bubble. I'm taking all of this trouble for a word bubble, to be clear. And I don't care. This is another thing that I want to do with Playscii is just make it so that make it so that it's like super easy to have like when you draw, it uses different pieces for corners and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna move this down a little bit so that it looks like he's actually saying it. There we go. Oh, okay, all good. Yeah. So yeah, Doom looks kind of worried there. I guess I could make the Soul Sphere doing the like. It's kind of the eyes and mouth size and distance proportions make it feel kind of Adventure Time. All right, so yeah, I think this is pretty good. By which I mean, I don't know. Let's be honest here. Yeah, can I do this? No, I don't think I can. Yeah, these characters only like go. Yeah, that doesn't look right to me. I could do this. Yeah, I'll do this. Just for shading, you know. And then I guess also, yeah, I could. What can I do about this? Like, this is architecturally, this is just completely like bland, you know. Like, so I guess I could do this. And yeah, what's a good Doom like side texture here? Because the kind of thing I'm thinking of, like, you know, the Soul Sphere is like, you know, there's something that's like just up on a pillar. I mean, good level designers, you know, usually in good level design, you're trying to avoid situations like this, where, you know, like a human avatar would just be able to like reach and grab it, however the hell you're grabbing a Soul Sphere. But yeah, what's a texture that I guess I could just use the I could like just lose my mind here and just draw a bunch of hexagons. But the hexagon thing is more recognizable as the Doom floor, not as the Doom wall type thing. Gosh, yeah. Am I going to open up Slade and look at Doom textures? Sure. This is Slade 3, by the way. It's a Doom editor. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, you can use it to open up Doom textures and Doom levels, which is even cooler. But we're not here to open up. Here's the Cacodemon head in the WAD file. It's just called head. All right, I refuse to spend this whole time geeking out about. All right, and these are Doom 2 textures. So actually, I think what I want here for it to be all recognizably Doomish is the original Doom, because it's got some key episode 1 textures, and that's kind of what I'm looking for here. I could do Sladwall. Oh man, should I do Sladwall? Or no, not Sladwall. Sladwall's terrible. Startan. Good old Startan. Let's filter by that, because I think there's a gray Startan. What's up here? What am I missing here? Oh, and Startan is the tan one because, right. Okay, yeah, these are classics. Green marble. Yeah, this is the Startan kind of space paneling here. Yeah, and I feel like I would use this kind of thing. So yeah, it's got like these sort of oval shapes and stuff. Question is, can I actually replicate these nicely? You know, using the thing here, because it's really all about these lozenge shapes, and for that I'd probably be better off. Yeah, and see, like the character grid is kind of coarse enough that the character grid is kind of coarse enough that I don't know if I'll be able to evoke those shapes. Maybe I can. Yeah, maybe this is fine. It's fine. And then yeah, I'll just yeah, and then you know what? Like, yeah, since we're doing it. I mean, this is a valid texture alignment. You know, like you could ram this tan texture into the ground like this, you know, and just and that just goes off that way. Let's assume that works out great. So here, actually, this is another case where I really should doop, 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 doop. Okay. I don't know, does that just add noise? See, yeah, like, this gets into... Okay, let's do this, and kind of tone it down here. Alright, now I'm going to use the only paint foreground color. Whoops. Oh, right, that's empty. Oh, huh, weird. Alright, well, I should probably fix these anyway, so... So I'm only painting the foreground color, and I'm not changing the character. Oh, yeah, that's right, because this is a solid thingy. Anyway, I'll just sample from it. Like, once you've got a composition going, you're never too far from, like, oh, yeah, I want to grab that a solid filled-in block of that color. Okay, yeah, that feels Doomish. You know, it's interesting, like, yeah, evoking Doom just through texture. Yeah, the brown wall texture. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the text chat here. Yeah, the brown wall textures, like, I would have to use these fairly, like, saturated browns, and for me, like, yeah, like these... Well, that is a pretty saturated brown now that I think of it. I'm thinking of Star Tan. No, God, what am I even... Am I losing my precious memories of Doom textures? These are the, yeah, here we go. Yeah, like, I'm used to that, where it's, like, that's not actually, like, a deep orange. Anyway, yeah, I feel like the Commodore 64 palette's browns would be like kind of too strong for that. I mean, I guess I could give it a shot here. All right, so this mode, I'm going to... Wait, what's going on here? No, don't paint color. You don't understand. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so actually, I mean, you know, that works. And yeah, it's going to be this darker color here. Being a little sloppy. It's fine. Yeah, you know, this is fine. And then just to fill this in here, we're going to do... Yeah. So that's a brown, that's a proper brown Doom level. Alright, well, that took more time than was maybe worth it, just to, you know, kind of detail this little pedestal, this unimportant pedestal. But it puts some more color in there, and I like that. So, yeah. Also, does Doom have like a little jewel, a little amulet? To go in his, I want to peek at the helmet again. Oh yeah, that's right. He's got like a little thing on the top, like a little shape. Yeah, that's not quite. That doesn't quite do it. Maybe that does it. See, that just reads as the Edscii club to me. So I don't even know. Yeah, maybe that works. Yeah, and that gives a little more definition to it. I don't know. Yeah, we could probably noodle on this for a long time. Also, I'm giving him like green wingtips here. It's fine. Does he look any better without? Yeah, he kind of does. It makes his feet less distracting. Is Soul Sphere cuter with this? Is he like ooh, or is he like oh? I don't know. All right. Well, at this point, this is probably as good as it's going to get. But yeah, so that's some art in Edscii. Thank you very much for giving me a request. I'm sorry I could not do a cooler request, like a sweet guitar, but I want to work up to that. I want to work up to, I'm going to be building an entire game's worth of ASCII art, environment tiles, and character sprites, and all that. So I'm going to need to get good at art again. And this is a low-pressure way for me to do that. And thank you very much for being along for the ride here with this. The last thing that I'm going to do here is export this. I've saved it, and I'm going to export it to a PNG image. We'll get that Doom out of there. And now, thank you, Slade. I really want to do some live Doom mapping as well. I will totally make time for that. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run a little shell script that runs Matthias Gustafsson's offline retrofilter program on any image, and then converts it, and then basically gives me a nice like CRT shaderified version of it. It's actually not super it's not as apparent here. Also, this isn't one-to-one scaling, so it's going to kind of moor up. Anyway, I always run this on anything, all the Edscii things that I've posted on Twitter. I always run this on it because when you zoom in a lot, I don't know, just like I like what it does to the pixels. Like instead of just having like chunky pixel art. I mean, you can also see some kind of artifacts of it here, but like it kind of breathes a little more color into it, and there's like light scan lines, but not too much. I'll grab the full-size version for ref here. It also changes the color temperature, just the overall colors, pretty dramatically. And this is so this is kind of side-by-side comparison here. And I like what all of that stuff does. So to the image, and the plan with Playscii is to make this just a built-in part of it. So you're doing your ASCII art, and you can toggle on the CRT filter off and on at any point. And when you export the image that you're working on, because you just want to like export a PNG for artwork, it will use that setting, so you can turn it'll actually render it out with the CRT filter on it or off of it, in case you want to do chunky pixel art or kind of smooth, blurry, bleedy CRT art. So yeah, that's a little bit of Edscii usage. I think in the future, if I do this, when I do it, I gotta say, I will probably be a little more confident, and I'll talk less and spend less time going over basic concepts of Edscii or Playscii, and just be doing artwork. And that'll be cool, because I want to do artwork, because it's fun. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks. Have a good night, everybody, and I will see you around on a future stream. So thank you so much. Bye.